Mentally retarded. A few years ago, at the Seattle Special Olympics, 9 contestants, all physically or mentally disabled, assembled at the starting line for the 100-yard dash. At the gun, they all started out not exactly in a dash, but with a relish to run the race to the finish and win. All, that is, except one little boy who stumbled on the asphalt, tumbled over a couple of times, and began to cry. The other 8 heard the boy cry. They slowed down and looked back. Then they all turned around and went back. Every one of them. One girl with Down syndrome bent down and kissed him and said, "This will make it better." Then all 9 linked arms and walked together to the finish line. Everyone in the stadium stood, and the cheering went on for several minutes. People who were there are still telling the story. Why? Because deep down we know this one thing: what matters in this life is more than winning for ourselves. Paid in full. A little boy came up to his mother in the kitchen one evening while she was fixing supper, and he handed her a piece of paper that he had been writing on. After his mom dried her hands on an apron, she read it, and this is what it said: "For cutting the grass. $5.00 for cleaning up my room this week. $1.00 for going to the store for you. $1.50 baby, sitting my kid brother while you went shopping. 25 cents taking out the garbage. $1.00 for getting a good report card. $5.00 for cleaning up and raking the yard. $2.00 total owed. $14.75. Well, his mother looked at him standing there, and the boy could see the memories flashing through her mind. She picked up the pen, turned over the paper he had written on, and this is what she wrote. "For the 9 months I carried you while you were growing inside me. No charge. For all the nights that I've sat up with you, doctored and prayed for you. No charge. For all the trying times, and all the tears that you've caused through the years. No charge. For all the nights filled with dread, and for the worries I knew were ahead. No charge. For the toys, food, clothes, and even wiping your nose. No charge. When you add it up, the cost of my love is no charge." When the boy finished reading what his mother had written, there were big tears in his eyes. Beautiful gift. A young man was getting ready to graduate college. For many months he had admired a beautiful sports car in a dealer's showroom, and knowing his father could well afford it, he told him that was all he wanted. As graduation day approached, the young man awaited signs that his father had purchased the car. On the morning of his graduation, his father called him into his private study. His father told him how proud he was to have such a fine son, and told him how much he loved him. He handed his son a beautiful wrapped gift box. Curious, but somewhat disappointed, the young man opened the box and found a lovely, leather-bound Holy Quran. Angrily, he raised his voice at his father and said, "With all your money you give me a holy book?" and stormed out of the house, leaving the holy book. He never contacted his father again for a long time. Many years passed, and the young man was very successful in business. He had a beautiful home and wonderful family, but realized his father was very old, and thought perhaps he should go to him. He had not seen him since that graduation day. Before he could make arrangements, he received a telegram telling him his father had passed away, and willed all of his possessions to his son. He needed to come home immediately and take care of things. When he arrived at his father's house, sudden sadness and regret filled his heart. He began to search his father's important papers and saw the still new Holy Quran, just as he had left it years ago. With tears, he opened the Holy Quran and began to turn the pages. As he read those words, a car key dropped from an envelope taped behind the Holy Quran. It had a tag with the dealer's name, the same dealer who had. What is a family? A man came home from work late, tired and irritated, to find his 5-year-old son waiting for him at the door. Son, Daddy, may I ask you a question? Dad, yeah, sure. What is it? Replied the man's son. Daddy, how much do you make an hour? Dad, that's none of your business. Why do you ask such a thing? The man said angrily. Son, I just want to know. Please tell me, how much do you make an hour? Dad, if you must know, I make $20 an hour. Oh, the little boy replied with his head down. Looking up, he said, Daddy, may I please borrow $10? The father was furious. If the only reason you ask that is so you can borrow some money to buy a silly toy or some other nonsense, then you march yourself straight to your room and go to bed. Think about why you are being so selfish. I work hard every day for such this childish behavior. The little boy quietly went to his room and shut the door. The man sat down and started to get even angrier about the little boy's questions. How dare he ask such questions only to get some money? After about an hour or so, the man had calmed down and started to think. Maybe there was something he really needed to buy with that $10 and he really didn't ask for money very often. The man went to the door of the little boy's room and opened the door. Are you asleep, son? He asked. No, Daddy, I'm awake, replied the boy. I've been thinking. Maybe I was too hard on you earlier, said the man. It's been a long day and I took out my aggravation on you. Here's the $10 you asked for. The little boy sat straight up, smiling. Oh, thank you, Daddy, he yelled. Then, reaching under his pillow, he pulled out some crumpled up bills. The man, seeing that the boy already had money, started to get angry again. The little boy slowly counted out his money and then looked up at his father. Why do you want more money if you already have some? The father grumbled. Because I didn't have enough, but now I do, the little boy replied. Daddy, I have $20 now. Can I buy an hour of your time? Please come home early tomorrow. I would like to have dinner with you. Share this story with someone you like. But even better, share $20 worth of time with someone you love. It's just a short reminder to all of you working so hard in life. We should not let time slip through our fingers without having spent some time with those who really matter to us, those close to our hearts. If we die tomorrow, the company that we are working for could easily replace us in a matter of days. But the family and friends we leave behind will feel the loss for the rest of their lives. And come to think of it, we pour ourselves more into work than to our family. An unwise investment indeed. So what is the moral of the story? Don't work too hard. True wealth. One day, a father of a very wealthy family took his son on a trip to the country with the purpose of showing his son how the poor people live so he could be thankful for his wealth. They spent a couple of days and nights on the farm of what would be considered a very poor family. On their return from their trip, the father asked his son, "How was the trip?" "It was great, Dad. Did you see how poor people can be?" the father asked. "Oh, yeah," said the son. "So what did you learn from the trip?" asked the father. The son answered, "I saw that we have one dog and they had 4. We have a pool that reaches to the middle of our garden and they have a creek that has no end. We have imported lanterns in our garden, and they have the stars at night. Our patio reaches to the front yard, and they have the whole horizon. We have a small piece of land to live on, and they have fields that go beyond our sight. We have servants who serve us, but they serve others. We buy our food, but they grow theirs. We have walls around our property to protect us. They have friends to protect them. With this, the boy's father was speechless. Then his son added, "Thanks, Dad, for showing me how poor we are.